Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of Getting Real About Business. That's right. It's your favorite. I hope it's your favorite by now. I'm going to be bold and say it's your favorite by now, even though it's episode 2. But in this podcast, we get real about business matters. I am one of your hosts. I am Andrea Ragoo. I'm also known as your virtual CFO. And my co host is Dana Hayes-Burke. You also know her as the Vision Builder. But together, we are Strat-fin Consulting Limited, and we are bringing this podcast to you, getting real about business, to really help get to the heart of business issues and talk about the real things that you need to do to really achieve business success. So today's episode, we are continuing a conversation about that Dana and I had about brick and mortar versus online, right? And in this conversation, we want to tackle the strategic elements, that business element of making that decision about between brick and mortar and online. So, to introduce this topic, Dana, tell us more about what it is we're going to talk about in this episode.
All right. So, because as Andrea said, brick and mortar versus online, or do you give consideration to a hybrid version of this? Now, if I were to ask you the question, what is the goal of business? I'm pretty sure we would have a whole bunch of answers. You hear things from to fulfill my purpose, to make an impact. But the goal of business ultimately is to make money. It's sales. That's why you're in business, because you can't have an impact without money and sales. If nobody is
Definitely.
buying this product or service from you, how are you making the impact, right? So the goal of business is to make money, and you make money through your sales. So how do you decide? This is the strategic question. How do you decide whether a brick and mortar version or the brick and mortar version that you've been using is the mechanism that still works? Or is it an online version? Or is it a combination, a hybrid version of this new business strategy and business model that is the best way to achieve this goal? And so in this episode, we are going to talk about strategy.
Yep. So we're talking about the strategy behind the brick and mortar versus online decision. So Dana, as we take our audience through this topic, tell us a bit about what is the problem or the challenge with this whole concept of brick and mortar versus online and how you apply the strategy behind it. What exactly is the problem that business owners are facing?
I think if I were to encapsulate it, I would say that we are still in the Caribbean, in Trinidad and Tobago, contending with this idea that if we don't have a physical location, our business is not successful. We still have this mindset that the marker, the full measure of really being successful in business is you have to be big like the Microsoft and like the Amazon. You have to have a building with your sign outside. You need to have this amazing storefront experience. And if you don't have any of that, then you are not successful. And because even if you are operating in an online space, so for those of you who, maybe were brick and mortar at one point, then we had 2020 and the ensuing years, you had to go online. You no longer had your physical location, but you were thriving online. You were surviving online. You are now seeing a lot of businesses coming right back to let's go back to finding a building. Why is that happening? Because there is an underlying messaging in the minds of a business owner that if I don't have a store for you to walk into, I am not successful, right? And then you have that vision of business. Then you have traditional businesses that we grew up seeing that have been brick and mortar forever, forever and 10 years, right? And so you are now in a space where you are operating with an old paradigm that this is how if I don't get up and put on my suit and go into my store, I am not a
This is how it's
success.
always been done. This is how we've always done it. That's how we've always been brick and mortar. That's the challenge.
And so this is now the challenge because therein, in those two examples, you are seeing right away that all of that decision has been made by your feelings and your mindset around what makes your business truly successful. And so this I know will be relevant to you, especially if you are running a family run business that has a long history, right? So you are trying to figure out, do I make a shift from this? You've made the shift to this public space. This is your mark of success. This is your flagship, right? Do you make a shift? Those of you who are already online, you have been thriving online. You probably had the best cash flow you've ever had since you started the business when you went online. Do I go back so my friends can say, I came into your store, right? So this is of relevance to you because you are making a decision. And so today's conversation is asking you a very vital question, because if the goal of your business is money, to make money, and the mechanism of making money is through sales, you have to ask yourself the question, the people who are buying, aka my customers, what is it that they want or still need? And can I, with my present model, access new customers?
So I love that. And I think you should say it again.
Oh my God, Andrea, I don't know if I can say it verbatim.
Not verbatim, but just bring that point back again.
Yes.
That the custom that you're saying, do I know if my
What they
customers
need. Because
even want this?
this is a strategic framework, right? The goal of your business is to make money. The mechanism of making money is your sales. And the way that you get those sales is through your customers. So, in order to determine which version or which model works for me, I need to ask myself, what does my customer want? Is the version that I'm providing what they still need? And if I keep my current configuration, can I access new customers?
And therein is the whole concept of, this is why if you don't get those things right, you will not grow.
Absolutely.
That is the secret to business growth and success. The ability to link those three things is what will help you achieve the business growth. So, if anything that we are saying here is touching a nerve, then I want you to keep listening because we're going to help soothe it for you. So, Dana, as we dive further in, let's share more about this whole idea of customer buying behavior and how we could maximize brick and mortar versus online.
So, when you think about making decisions, so you have aspects of your business, right? You have your business model. And so your delivery mechanism is really the way in which you make your business model, whatever your business model is. And certainly, I'm very certain we will have an episode on business models. But whatever your structure is in terms of your presence, that is your delivery mechanism. And so in our previous episode, when we were talking about this topic from a financial perspective, I shared with you that there are four aspects that help a company or a business to scale and to grow. And of course, we mentioned the first one, which was cash. Another aspect, another tenet that helps a business to grow is your strategy. And this is where the conversation around brick and mortar, online, hybrid is a strategic decision, right? And it's a strategic decision that is really and really should be predicated and based on your understanding of customer buying behavior. The reason for having a store, the reason for having a website, the reason for having social media pages is so that customers are able to access what you have on offer. So now you as a business owner, running a family run business, probably inheriting it from your parents, have to ask yourself, who are the customers that have been coming in? Are the customers still trying to access in this way?
Mm.
What are the predominant new buying behaviors that I am now seeing from the new customers with purchasing power? These are the questions we need to look at, because think about it. You who are taking over the business, whether you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're in your 20s, think about how you buy. Think about how you buy the things that are being sold in your current business and ask yourself, what is the avenue that is best suited for this? So we're looking at brick and mortar versus online. Presently, new customer buying behavior is shopping online. Andrea and I, we were talking about the fact that when we think about something, what do? You grab your phone and you start
You
searching.
grab your phone. You grab your phone and you start to look for those things, right? I was sharing with you that I myself, one, you always know what I'm in the mood for, what is happening in my life, because my feed is constantly showing me what I'm looking for. These days, I'm looking for some home items, things in my home that due to after having done some minor renovation, you want to fix back up. So my feed is constantly all the home improvement stores, all the different home stores. I'm checking out, I'm marking things, I'm saving posts, and I'm sending it to myself to remind myself, okay, this person has this at this price and whatever. But the point is, I am not just picking up and going to the hardware or going to these different places and looking to see. The search is happening on the phone and all the notes are on the phone. And for when you're ready to make that shift now to say, okay, I am ready to purchase, I now go to, if even if it's 2 or 3 different stores. The point is, you're going now there with a purpose, because your page told me that you had it. I probably messaged you to find out some more information. You may have responded to me, and I now have, okay, I can go. So this is a critical shift in consumer behavior. And for those of you who have been primarily brick and mortar, I know this might be a bit hard to hear, because you're saying to yourself, but I didn't have internet 20 years ago. My business was not built on that. And this is where, when we talk about strategy and we talk about making strategic shifts, this is the type of thing you have to think about, because what got you successful may not be the thing that keeps you
Success.
successful.
Absolutely. Honestly, let's not say me, because I would like to be very real with you all, and we promise that we will be real. It will not keep you successful. So you have to think now. There are some business models, like in Andrea's description of looking for home items. There's some business models that you can't be fully online. We get that. You're a hardware store. You can't be fully online. However, if you have a well done online presence, it actually now gives you the opportunity to drive customers to your brick and mortar store, as demonstrated by the example with Andrea. This is now the mindset we have to take. We're not saying that everybody needs to convert into online, but absolutely some of our traditional businesses, you are losing opportunity beyond your neighborhood. And to give another example, I know personally, I will jump in my car and drive to the other side of the island to get something if I found it online and I want it. So now you actually have opportunity to have customers beyond your local jurisdiction. And so when
Correct.
you build your business your parents built their business with a localized mindset, you have an opportunity to extend that mindset and to scale your business. But you have to think about it strategically. In the same way, some businesses you started online. You started in the pandemic. Interestingly enough, Andrea, the pandemic started in 2020. So imagine somebody started their business in 2020. We're recording this in 2025. You've had a 5-year operating business, 4 to 5 year operating business. And so one of the things as business owners, we don't really think about a longevity, how long we've been around. So if you think about you've been operating your business virtually, remotely, online for 4 to 5 years, why are you making the shift to brick and mortar? If your customers are happy with your current configuration of your delivery mechanism.
Preach, preach. So at this point in time, I would like to introduce one of our segments called Fakery
Bakery
in the
in the
Bake,
bakery.
right? And in this segment, guys, this is where we always tackle the fake things in business in terms of things that you think might work, or people tell you the get rich quick and those type of schemes. We are here to debunk all those things and tell you those things don't work, those things are fake. So in Fakery in the Bakery, we will be discussing what, Dana? I hand it over to Dana to give us our Fakery in the Bakery segment.
So this Fakery in the Bakery is almost like a case study version of it, but we're not calling names, we're not disclosing, but we're referencing what we have seen, because we see things, right? So imagine that you have an artisanal business that makes some sort of food item. It is a food item that can be stored, and based on what you have done so far, you were able to have people ordering. So you didn't have a website, people were ordering, you were selling out, things were nice, you were running out of space to make the things are looking good. So in your current configuration, you're selling out. The accountant will tell you, good stuff, right? We're making the sales, the overheads are low because you have
good.
Yeah, you're operating from home, right? And then because there's a demand, interestingly enough, in Trinidad specifically, you can get placement in grocery shelves for artisanal businesses once you meet certain criteria. So boom, bang, bang, demand is good. You built your brand really well and you got placement in grocery shelves. So now, not only as your localized customers being served and selling you out, you use your social media really well, and you now have people wanting it from all across the island, and you have placement in the grocery store. And people are saying, yes, I want this way. Why on earth would you choose to go and open a brick-and-mortar bakery version when nobody asks you for it? So presently, your business model, you are making sales. You are on shelves and you are in your typical delivery online method. What made you go and open the bakery store or go and open the grocery style version on your own? So you open your own grocery to sell only your stuff.
And this applies to the artisanal products and crafty people. You might be making different crafting, the candles, the arts and crafts. You might be in somebody else's store and getting a little distribution network, and you might be in gift stores, but then you now decide, I want to have my own store, my own storefront.
So the favorite now is that you decided that you knew what the customer wanted more than what the customer was telling you. Imagine that.
Correct. The fakery in the bakery is that you have now made assumptions and you say, yeah, because you are successful in those other methods, in your online method and in your distribution method, you decide, well, let's add the third method of a storefront.
I want a retail method.
We all want to see the store with our name on it, and we want to be able to say that we have a store. That's the fakery in the bakery.
Yeah. And so we also have the other option. So that's the online version. I just want to drop this in for those of you who are running businesses and been in the community forever, right? So think about your favorite convenience store. Think about your favorite, you grew up going in these stores, your mommy take you to the store, and they're just accustomed to people just coming into the store. You're walking down Frederick Street and they just come in and they just pop in, right? But suddenly the store starts to be empty. Why is the store empty? What are you missing about the new customer? So your all-time way is that we just built it. What did Andrea say? Build it and it will come?
Build it and they will come. That's what the people say.
So your all-time way, build it and they will come. But suddenly nobody is coming. So in this instance, what worked for you in the past is not working for you now. What is the shift that you now need to make? Why are they not coming? What are the customers telling you that they want? Fakery in the bakery is believing that if I build it, they will come.
And I just want to plug in here. we're having this conversation amidst, Dana is talking about, the customer shift, that behavior is shifting. They no longer, we talked about people researching things online first. Let's tackle that this conversation is happening in the space of remote work and work from home, right? People are no longer on the road and on the move as much as they used to,
Yeah.
right? There are some people that will tell you their cars probably don't start for the week because Monday to Friday, if they're working from home, they don't go anywhere. So for them, online is where the first place is. So I just wanted to bring that into the conversation to just give some context to why, if people are wondering, well, why the customer behavior change, right? You have, this is where you have to look at the social impact of
Yeah.
things on your customer. And that's one aspect. There are other aspects, but I just wanted to plug that in there because I know it's a hot topic. Everybody loves to talk about the work from
I
home.
actually love
But
that you mentioned that too, because I think just to piggyback on that, we also have people, again, you started your store, your hardware, your neighborhood grocery, or whatever it is 10, 20 years ago, we had less cars. Nobody travels anymore. So another consideration is if I let me speak for Dana Hayes-Burke and not for anybody else. If you have no parking, and I got to park on the road for the Rakura
facts,
to come for me, I am not stopping.
facts,
I'm saying this to you
facts.
straight up.
And that makes sense because just today, as I was on my way back, I went out to come back. I went out to do something, and on my way back, I had to stop at the little grocery store to get something. And my choice of grocery store was based on the fact that they had a car park. Because I was like, you know what, I don't. No, I have other mini marts and shops and things nearby, but I was like, no, I want to be able to park off the road and be comfortable that when I walk in, even though I'm taking 10 minutes, that I was properly parked. So that's another example of these social things happening that are impacting people's behavior in how they access you as a business.
So let me share very quickly how you can now use, how are you going to make the decision from a strategic perspective as it relates to whether you go brick and mortar, whether you go fully online, or whether you have a hybrid version. The first thing you need to do is you really do need to analyze your sales data, because your sales data is really going to tell you, am my sales increasing, decreasing, am I stagnant? Because again, a lot of the times we have the sales going on and you're doing the accounts, but you're not actually paying attention to the patterns in your data. The patterns in your data tells you when your peaks are, and a big and important aspect of it is to look year to year, right? So your peak period, is it year to year decreasing? I don't care what the business association says on the news. You need to look at what your numbers are telling you. Are people not coming into your store? Are you no longer getting, are you not getting the millennials, the Gen Zs, eventually the Generation Alphas are not coming to your store? So all of your boomers and your Gen Xer clients are all you have. It is telling you that if their children are not coming to buy from you, your business is on the decline and on its way out. What do you need to check? And then you need to do a survey of what your customers need. Stop assuming that you know. The fakery and the bakery is predicated on the fact that you think you know. In part, you know, but in part, you need data. And so you need to survey. You have all these customers that are coming through. Have you surveyed what they want? Have you asked them about their user experience, their customer interface experience with you? Have you asked them if they need some additional online space? Would they want an online space to find out more about you? So strategically, we are in a time of the most data, but we have the most ignorant business owners ever. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but it is really ignorance from the point of we do not know, and we also do not know what we do not know, and we don't seem to care that we are operating with blindness. And it's really going to cause. So this conversation of brick and mortar online might seem very surface at the top, but it's an indication that you are making emotional choices. If you're just icky picky punky, what do we do?
I love that. And it's just a matter of we operating on feeling and tradition. I think that's the problem. Right? Like, well, we've always done it this way. We've always done it this way. That's how it's always been done. And we are here to say to you that may not necessarily be the case. You have to now access the data, as Dana is saying. Look at the data, access it, and use it to make the decision, as opposed to hanging on to what you used to know. And the thing about is what we're saying, we're not saying that what you used to know is wrong. What you used to know is just that something that used to happen.
Yes.
You now have a shift that you need to adapt to. It's not that the methodologies were wrong. It's not that, because it couldn't be wrong. It led you this far.
Yeah.
It brought you here. It has made you a legacy business. But the difference is, now with these changing times, you need to make decisions based on data that you probably were not able to access back then. That's why you did things a particular way. So now that data is available, use the data. This brings us to our final segment. Dana, I'd like you to tell the audience, how can they move from hustler to CEO? This is our segment where we give you some actionable steps that you can take that makes you closer to that CEO and less of a hustler mode in your business. Dana, what's our hustler to CEO move regarding brick and mortar and online?
So what I want you to do is I need you to go and review your data. And so take your notes as to what data you need to review. What the first bit of data I want you to look at is your sales data. Primarily, I want you to go back to maybe whatever documentation receipting system you have and look at the days on which people were coming in. So look at the transactions, not the quantity, but the frequency over time. And you can get a pattern of how people are coming through your store. But I also want you to look at your analytics on your social media data. Because what that is actually telling you, even if you made a social media page simply for making a social media page, when you look at people coming to your page and the questions that are being asked there, it starts to paint a picture of what people are looking for from you as a consumer and gives you an idea of, if you're brick and mortar, are they looking for you online to get more insight, to get more data, to see what products you have? Are they asking you about prices? Are they asking you about if you have this or if you have that? So look at the data that is there, right? If you have a website, look at your traffic data. See if people are coming even when you are not making an effort. If they are looking for you when you are not making an effort, imagine how many customers you just lost. This is what you need to look. This is the CEO move. I just lost 100 visitors because I had nothing on my website to tell them what I have for sale. Right?
Facts.
So you got to start looking at the data. So data in terms of if you're brick and mortar, visitors into the store, start doing counts and checks to see how many visitors. And over time, you're going to see if it's increasing or decreasing. If you have an online presence, looking at the analytics there. If you are an online business, paying attention to your analytics there as well. But also for both brick and mortar and online businesses, take your existing customer data and do a survey. Ask them what they need from you, and then do a wider public survey and ask those people who have never bought from you how they would like to buy from you. You see those things? When you ask the customer what they want and then give them what they want, you are always guaranteed to be successful and to make you have a greater likelihood of making a better decision as to your delivery mechanism for your business. Because remember, the goal is to make money. You make money through sales. The mechanism of those sales are your customers. And so choosing online brick and mortar hybrid is all about ensuring that you can deliver value to the customer so you make your sales and you grow your business.
Well, there you have it, guys. Our conversation on brick and mortar versus online. the strategic edition, where we spoke about the business strategy behind that decision. We really hope that we were able to share some insights. We really hope that this spoke to you. Do let us know in the comments what you thought about our conversation today. Ask your questions if there's any questions that you feel you want us to answer that we didn't quite address in the video today. But definitely do our hustler to CEO action steps to help take you to the next level. And follow us, subscribe so that you could continue to see our future episodes. Episodes always drop on the first and the third Thursday of the month. Look out for our new episodes. All right, till next time, take care, guys.